There comes a moment in every life when the mirror turns from glass to fire. You look into it expecting a reflection, but instead, it burns everything false away. The roles you played, the masks you wore, the dreams that were never yours to begin with. And as it all turns to ash, you are left with a frightening, liberating truth. You are free. Not in the way people imagine freedom, not the kind that comes from money, or travel, or escape, but a deeper freedom. The freedom to choose your response to anything that happens. Even pain, even abandonment, even death. I learned this not in peace, but in the depths of unimaginable darkness. I watched everything familiar taken from me. My home, my books, my name, even the people I loved. But no one could take from me the final human freedom. The ability to choose my attitude. Even when I could no longer choose my conditions, I could still choose my meaning. This is the shift that begins to rebuild a soul. It doesn't deny suffering, it transforms it, because meaning is not found in avoiding pain. It is found in walking through it with your eyes open, your heart soft, and your soul determined to rise. You may not realize how powerful you are until life breaks you open, but it's in the breaking that light gets in. And it's in that light that you begin to see clearly. You realize that pain is not the enemy. Meaninglessness is. That hopelessness grows not from suffering, but from the belief that the suffering serves no purpose. So let me ask you, what if your pain could be used? What if it was trying to point you towards something? Not to punish you, but to awaken you. What if your deepest wound was the key to your greatest offering? It is a question that haunts and heals, because it demands that you stop waiting for life to be fair and start deciding what kind of person you will be in response to life's unfairness. That is power. That is meaning. That is the beginning of freedom. So if you feel broken, if you feel behind, if you feel forgotten, good. It means you're standing in the doorway of transformation. It means you're being invited to stop chasing someone else's dream and begin creating your own. Not because it's easy, but because it's true. And truth, even when it hurts, will always set you free. Freedom is not found in a life without limits. It is found in your response to those limits. You may not be able to control your past, but you can choose how it shapes you. You may not be able to undo the pain, but you can decide what it will mean. This choice, to find purpose in what once only brought suffering, is not easy, but it is possible. And in that possibility there is hope. I do not speak of a hollow surface hope, but of the kind that is earned in the fire. A hope that survives the silence, the abandonment, the nights when God seems absent. There were nights when I too questioned everything. Nights when the world shrank to the sound of footsteps, a cold wall, and the unbearable weight of nothing. And yet, even there, especially there, meaning whispered, not in words, not in clarity, but in the still insistence that I must endure with dignity, that I must not become less human just because the world forgot how to be human. To suffer without meaning is to be crushed, but to suffer with meaning is to be carved open for something greater. This is the strange grace of suffering. It strips away what is false. It shows you what cannot be taken. And often what remains is the part of you that was most real all along. So if you're grieving, don't rush to fix it. If you feel lost, don't panic. The path to meaning does not begin with answers. It begins with presence. With the radical act of staying close to yourself even when it hurts. Let yourself feel it. Not to wallow, but to witness. To honor the part of you that still longs for truth, because that longing is a thread. And if you follow it with honesty, with courage, with tenderness, it will lead you to the center of your own becoming. Not all at once, not without detours, but faithfully. Because pain is not the opposite of purpose. Sometimes it is the invitation. We are often told to look for happiness, to chase it, to build a life around it. But happiness is fleeting. It changes with circumstance, with weather, with hormones, with fortune. Meaning is different. Meaning is stable. It is what you return to when happiness leaves the room. It's what sustains you when everything else collapses. This is why I say, don't ask, what will make me happy? Ask, What am I willing to suffer for? What pain would be worth enduring because the purpose behind it is so real to me? These are the questions that bring clarity. Not the fantasy of ease, but the fire of commitment. Because a meaningful life is not an easy one. It demands sacrifice. It asks that you let go of comfort, that you walk into uncertainty, that you choose depth over distraction. But in return, it offers something sacred. The feeling that your life is yours. That your time is not being wasted on chasing applause, on fitting in, on polishing a mask. Meaning roots you. It gives shape to your yes and backbone to your no. You begin to live with integrity. And integrity is wholeness. Even when life pulls you apart, even when grief scatters you into pieces, meaning gives you the thread that holds you together. This is not something society teaches us. In fact, society often distracts us from ever asking these questions. You are told to be productive, to succeed, to shine, but rarely are you asked, what breaks your heart? What do you long to heal in the world? What do you want your suffering to stand for? These are not questions of despair. They are questions of design, because if you don't define your meaning, someone else will define it for you. And they will sell it to you wrapped in glitter and empty promises. You'll chase things that feel urgent, but are never truly important. And you'll wonder why you feel empty after everything you thought you wanted has already been achieved. This is why the inner life matters. Not as a luxury, not as a spiritual accessory, but as survival. As the difference between a life that numbs and a life that speaks. The world does not need more achievement. It needs more meaning, more courage, more people willing to live aligned with what is true instead of what is trending. And you have that choice. Right now. Not someday when you're healed, not when you're perfect, not when you're finally sure. Now, even with the doubt, even with the scars you try to hide, because those scars you try to hide, they're not signs of failure. They're signs that you felt, that you risked, that you lived, and in a world built on surfaces, depth is a radical act. So I ask you again, what do you want your pain to stand for? What do you want your pain to stand for? What kind of person do you want to become because of what you've endured? You don't need a grand vision. You just need a quiet truth. One you can return to when the winds rise. That truth is your anchor. That truth is your compass. That truth is your meaning. Sometimes the hardest battles are fought within. Not against others, but against the voices inside your head. The voices of doubt, fear, and old wounds. They tell you you're not enough, that you're broken, that you'll never be whole. But what if those voices are just echoes of past pain, not your true self? What if the real you is waiting quietly beneath the noise, the chaos, the self-judgment? To find that real you must be willing to sit in silence, to meet yourself with kindness, not condemnation. This is a revolution of the spirit. To unlearn the lies, to reclaim your story, to rewrite your meaning. It is not easy. It requires patience. It requires courage. It requires forgiveness. Forgiveness of others, but especially forgiveness of yourself. Because so many of us carry guilt as if it were a second skin. But guilt is not a badge of honor. It is a prison. You were never meant to live there. You were meant to be free. Free to be curious. Free to be imperfect. Free to stumble and rise again. Free to create meaning even from the ashes of your past. Every scar tells a story. Every failure holds a lesson. And every day is a new chance to choose differently. To choose meaning. To choose love. To choose life. We often believe that our value depends on our success, on how others perceive us, on the trophies we collect, on the image we project. But this is a mirage, a fragile illusion that fades under pressure. True value is born in moments when no one is watching. In the silent choices to be honest with yourself, to act with integrity even when it costs you, to show up even when the world feels heavy. This is where meaning begins. Not in grand gestures, but in small acts of courage. In the choice to forgive a wound, to speak a truth, to hold space for pain without running away. Life will test you. It will break your heart. It will ask for more than you think you have. And yet, in those trials, you find your strength. Your strength is not in perfection, but in persistence. In the decision to keep going when giving up feels easier. When you learn to embrace your imperfections, you discover the beauty of being human. You learn that your worth is not tied to performance, but to presence, to being fully here, right now. The present moment is a gift. It is the only place where meaning is created. Not in the past, which is gone. Not in the future, which is uncertain. But here, in this breath, in this heartbeat. What will you do with it? Will you live distracted, chasing illusions? Or will you live awake, choosing meaning every day? The choice is yours. And that choice is freedom. Freedom to become the person you were meant to be. Freedom to turn your suffering into a story of hope. Freedom to create a life rooted in truth and purpose. No matter what the world says, no matter what you've been told, you are not your failures. You are not your pain. You are the meaning you create through the way you live. This is the power of choice. This is the heart of logotherapy. The belief that even in the darkest moments, life has meaning, and that you have the freedom to find it. There's a freedom that no one can take from you, not even the harshest circumstances. It is the freedom to choose your attitude, to assign meaning where others see only suffering. This freedom is your power. It is the space where your true self lives. And yet, it is often the most difficult freedom to claim. Because choosing meaning means embracing responsibility. It means owning your story, the pain, the mistakes, the scars. No one else can do this for you. No one can give you meaning. You must create it. This can feel overwhelming. You may ask, why me? Why this suffering? Why now? These questions have no easy answers, but the search for answers is itself meaningful. Meaning is not a prize to be won, but a journey to be walked. And every step, no matter how small, matters. When you feel lost, when the weight of life crushes you, remember this: you have the capacity to rise, to find light in darkness, to find hope in despair, to find purpose in pain. This is not naive optimism. It is hard-won wisdom. The wisdom that life's meaning is found not in external circumstances, but in how we choose to respond. It is a radical choice, a choice that requires courage, but it is also a choice that frees. Because when you choose meaning, you are no longer a victim. You become the author of your own story. And in that authorship lies your power. Power to transform suffering into strength. Power to transform pain into purpose. This is the gift Frankl offers us. The gift of freedom within constraint. The gift of meaning within suffering. In every moment of doubt, when the night feels long and the heart feels heavy, remember, you are not alone in this struggle. Countless souls before you have walked this path, through darkness, through despair, through loss, and emerged with a truth more radiant than any light. Meaning is not a distant prize, but a flame kindled within. It is the compass that guides you through chaos. The quiet voice that whispers, you can endure this. This flame is fragile. It must be tended with care, nurtured with patience, and protected with courage. It will falter in moments of fear, but it will never be extinguished completely. Because meaning is not given, it is claimed. Claimed by those who refuse to be defined by their pain, who dare to see suffering as a doorway rather than a prison. The choice is yours. Will you remain a prisoner of your past, or will you step through the door and walk toward the life waiting for you? This door is not always obvious. Sometimes it is hidden behind tears, behind anger, behind the thick fog of confusion. But it is always there. And when you find it, you will recognize it by the hope it brings. The hope that even broken things can be made whole again. That even shattered dreams can be reborn with new meaning. That your story, with all its pain and all its beauty, matters. You matter. This is the essence of the human spirit. The endless capacity to create meaning, to transform suffering, to choose life. So when the weight of the world presses down, when you feel lost in the silence, reach deep inside and find your flame. Hold it close. Let it light your way. Because the journey to meaning is not a destination. It is a becoming, a daily choice, a sacred act. To become means to move beyond the limitations that bind us. the narratives we have accepted, the fears that have silenced us, the wounds that have defined us. It means stepping into the unknown with a heart open to possibility. Even when the road ahead is shrouded in doubt, you might ask, how can I do this? How can I move forward when everything feels broken? The answer is found in small steps, in the moments when you choose kindness toward yourself and others, even when it is hard, in the decisions to speak your truth, even when your voice shakes, in the courage to embrace vulnerability, even when it feels like risk. Transformation does not happen all at once. It is a process, a weaving together of many threads: patience, faith, struggle, grace. And through this process, you discover the parts of yourself you never knew existed. You find strength in your weakness, clarity in your confusion, hope in your despair. This is not a fairy tale. It is the reality of human resilience. And it is your reality too, if you allow it. You are invited to become the author of your own story, to write with honesty, with courage, with compassion, not to erase the past, but to integrate it, to learn from it, to let it deepen your understanding of what it means to be alive. Every scar is a chapter, every tear is a page, and every choice you make turns the story forward. So, who will you choose to be? Will you be the victim or the victor? Will you carry your wounds as chains or as keys? The path is yours, and the journey is sacred. To become means to move beyond the limitations that bind us, the narratives we have accepted, the fears that have silenced us, the wounds that have defined us. It means stepping into the unknown with a heart open to possibility. Even when the road ahead is shrouded in doubt, you might ask, how can I do this? How can I move forward when everything feels broken? The answer is found in small steps. In the moments when you choose kindness toward yourself and others, even when it is hard. In the decisions to speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. In the courage to embrace vulnerability, even when it feels like risk. Transformation does not happen all at once. It is a process, a weaving together of many threads. Patience, faith, struggle, grace. And through this process, you discover the parts of yourself you never knew existed. You find strength in your weakness, clarity in your confusion, hope in your despair. This is not a fairy tale. It is the reality of human resilience. And it is your reality, too, if you allow it. You are invited to become the author of your own story, to write with honesty, with courage, with compassion. Not to erase the past, but to integrate it, to learn from it, to let it deepen your understanding of what it means to be alive. Every scar is a chapter, every tear is a page, and every choice you make turns the story forward. So, who will you choose to be? Will you be the victim or the victor? Will you carry your wounds as chains or as keys? The path is yours, and the journey is sacred. Freedom is not a burden to be feared, but a responsibility to be embraced. It calls us to stand in the center of our lives, to own our choices, and to face the consequences with courage. This responsibility can feel heavy, especially when the world around us seems uncertain, when suffering threatens to overwhelm us. Yet, it is precisely in this responsibility that we find our greatest strength. When we take responsibility for our meaning, we reclaim our power. We stop blaming circumstances, others, or fate for our unhappiness. Instead, we become creators of our own destiny. This does not mean that life will be easy. Far from it. But it means that no matter what happens, we are never powerless. We can always choose our response. And this choice shapes everything. It shapes our identity, our relationships. Choosing meaning is the ultimate act of freedom. It is the declaration that your life matters, that your suffering has a purpose, that your existence is not random. In this declaration, you find hope. You find the courage to continue. So, when you feel lost, when the road ahead is unclear, remember this: you are not alone. You have within you a wellspring of meaning, a source of strength, a capacity for love. And it is waiting for you to choose it, to embrace it, to live it. This is your path, your purpose, your meaning. Resilience is not the absence of pain. It is the presence of meaning despite pain. It is the quiet strength that carries you when your legs feel weak, when your heart feels shattered, when the world feels cold. Resilience is forged in the fires of suffering. It is born in the moments when you choose to stand, to breathe, to keep moving forward, not because you have to, but because you have found a reason to. A reason worth fighting for. A reason that transcends fear, transcends doubt, transcends despair. That reason is your meaning. It is the thread that holds you together, the light that guides you home, the song that sings in your soul. And though life may knock you down, you will rise again, stronger, wiser, more alive. This is the promise of resilience, that no matter what happens, you have within you the power to heal, to grow, to transform. And this power is rooted in meaning. Meaning gives you roots to ground you in the storm. Meaning gives you wings to soar beyond your pain. Meaning is the bridge between suffering and hope. So when life breaks you, do not despair. Lean into your pain. Listen to what it has to teach you. And know this, you are not alone. You are not broken. You are becoming. Self-discovery is not a destination. It is a lifelong journey. It is the unfolding of your true essence, the peeling away of layers that no longer serve you, the revealing of your authentic self. This journey is often uncomfortable. It asks you to face your shadows, to question your beliefs, to challenge the stories you have told yourself. But it is in this discomfort that transformation happens. Each step into the unknown is a step toward freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from judgment, freedom from the need to conform. When you embrace your true self, you open the door to genuine connection with yourself, with others, with life itself. You begin to see your worth not in what you do or have, but in who you are. And this realization changes everything. You stop chasing external validation. You stop measuring your value by others' standards. You start living according to your own truth, guided by meaning, by purpose, by love. This is the heart of Viktor Frankl's message, that even in the darkest circumstances, you have the power to choose your attitude, to find meaning, and to live fully. Your life is your message to the world. What do you want it to say? Purpose is the compass that guides us through life's storms. It is the reason we get up each morning, the fire that fuels our actions, the light that shines in our darkest hours. Without purpose, life can feel empty, like a ship lost at sea, adrift without direction. But when we find purpose, we find meaning. Purpose gives our suffering a voice. It transforms pain into power. It connects us to something greater than ourselves, a cause, a community, a calling. This connection is what sustains us when everything else falls away. It is the anchor that keeps us grounded, the wings that allow us to soar. Finding purpose requires courage. It means listening to the quiet whisper of your heart, even when the world shouts louder. It means trusting yourself, even when doubt creeps in. It means stepping into the unknown, even when the path is unclear. But the reward is worth the risk. A life lived with purpose is a life of fulfillment. It is a life that matters. And the beautiful truth is, purpose is not something you find. It is something you create. Through your choices, through your actions, through your willingness to face life's challenges with an open heart. So ask yourself, what is my purpose? What gives my life meaning? What legacy do I want to leave? These questions may not have immediate answers, and that is okay, because the journey itself is the answer. Each step you take toward purpose is a step toward becoming fully alive. Transformation is not a sudden event. It is a gradual unfolding. Like a seed breaking through the soil, it requires time, patience, and nurturing. The soil may be rocky, the weather harsh, but the seed perseveres. So must you. Your transformation begins with awareness. The moment you realize that your current path may not be leading you to the life you desire. This awareness can be uncomfortable, even painful. It challenges your old beliefs, your habits, your comfort zones. But it also opens the door to possibility. Possibility to rewrite your story, to redefine your meaning, to reclaim your life. The path of transformation is not without obstacles. Fear will arise, doubt will whisper, resistance will push back. Yet each challenge is an opportunity, an invitation to grow, to strengthen, to deepen your understanding of yourself. When you embrace these challenges, you move closer to your true self, to the person you were always meant to be. Transformation is an act of courage. It is the willingness to face uncertainty, to let go of the familiar, to step into the unknown. And with each step, you create new meaning. You create a new life. A life rooted in purpose, in love, in truth. This is the power you hold. The power to transform your pain into a path of growth. The power to turn your suffering into a source of strength. The power to choose meaning in every moment. There will be moments when darkness surrounds you, when despair threatens to consume your soul. In those moments, remember that light is always possible. Light is not the absence of darkness, but the presence of meaning within it. It is the spark of hope that refuses to be extinguished. Even in the deepest night, a single candle can guide your way. This light is your inner meaning, your why. It is the reason you endure, the reason you fight, the reason you keep moving forward. When you connect with this light, you tap into a wellspring of strength. You become a beacon, not just for yourself, but for others lost in their own darkness. Your journey becomes a testament to the power of meaning, and this testament is a gift to yourself, to the world. So when the night feels endless, hold on to your light. Protect it, nurture it, let it shine, because it will lead you home. And home is where your true self awaits, whole, free, and alive. Hope is not a naive wish for better days. It is a radical act of rebellion against despair. To hope is to declare that your story is not finished, that despite pain and setbacks, there is possibility for renewal. Hope is the seed of transformation. It empowers you to envision a future beyond current suffering. It gives you strength to rise when you fall. But hope requires action. It asks you to engage with life fully, to participate in your own healing, to choose meaning even when it feels impossible. In this choice, you reclaim your humanity. You affirm that your life matters, that your struggles have purpose, and that you are capable of growth. This is the essence of Viktor Frankl's teaching. That meaning is found not despite suffering, but through it. It is a call to find your why, to hold on to it tightly, and to live it fiercely. So when despair whispers lies, when fear threatens to paralyze, choose hope. Choose to believe in your capacity to create meaning, to heal, to become whole. This choice is your power, your freedom, your life. Suffering is an inevitable part of life. Yet, it is not the suffering itself that defines us, but how we respond to it. Viktor Frankl taught us that even in the bleakest moments, we have the freedom to find meaning. This freedom is a beacon in the storm, a guiding star when the night is darkest. When pain overwhelms, remember that suffering can be a pathway, a doorway to deeper understanding, to growth, to transformation. But this pathway is not easy. It demands that we face our pain with honesty and courage, to look inward, to confront our fears, to ask the hard questions. Why am I suffering? What can this teach me? How can I use this experience to grow, to help others, to create meaning? These questions may have no immediate answers, but the act of asking them opens the door to healing. Meaning does not erase suffering, but it changes our relationship with it. It transforms suffering from a burden to a teacher, from a prison to a path. And in this transformation, we find freedom. Freedom not from pain, but from despair. This freedom is the essence of Viktor Frankl's legacy. It is a call to each of us to live not just for pleasure or success, but for meaning, to choose purpose over comfort, to find light in the darkness, to be fully alive, even in the face of suffering. Life's paradox is that suffering can be both a source of despair and a gateway to profound meaning. This paradox can be difficult to grasp, especially when pain feels overwhelming and endless. But Viktor Frankl's insight reveals a path forward, not by escaping suffering, but by embracing it. To embrace suffering is to acknowledge its reality, to accept it without surrender, and to use it as a catalyst for growth. This acceptance is not passive resignation, but an active choice, a courageous stance in the face of adversity. When you make this choice, you tap into a reservoir of inner strength that may surprise you. You discover that even in the most difficult moments, there is a spark of meaning waiting to be found. This spark can ignite a transformation, leading you to a deeper understanding of yourself and your place in the world. It teaches you that meaning is not something given to you, but something you create, And that creation requires freedom. The freedom to choose your attitude, your response, your path. In this freedom lies your power, your ability to transform suffering into purpose, into growth, into life. This is not an easy path, but it is a meaningful one. It is the path Viktor Frankl invites us to walk, a path of courage, of resilience, of profound meaning. Chaos is often the crucible where meaning is forged. When the world feels like it's unraveling, when familiar structures collapse, we are forced to confront the raw essence of our existence. This confrontation can be terrifying, but it is also an opportunity to rebuild from the ground up, to redefine what matters most, to discover what truly gives life meaning. In chaos, the distractions fall away. The superficial is stripped back. We are left with the core questions. Who am I? What do I value? What is my purpose? Answering these questions requires courage. It requires vulnerability. It requires honesty. But it is in this honesty that we find clarity. Clarity that guides us through the storm. Meaning is not a fixed destination. It is a dynamic process, a constant creation and recreation. Each crisis, each challenge, each upheaval is a chance to deepen our understanding, to strengthen our commitment, to align our actions with our deepest values. When you face chaos with an open heart, you tap into a wellspring of resilience. You discover a strength you didn't know you had. You learn that even in the darkest times, you can choose your attitude. You can choose meaning. And in that choice, you find freedom. The courage to choose meaning is often born in the depths of despair. It is the quiet defiance against the loud chaos within and without. Choosing meaning does not mean ignoring pain, nor pretending that everything is fine. It means acknowledging the truth, the hard, uncomfortable truth, and still deciding to move forward. This is the paradox of freedom. We are free not to control what happens to us, but to choose how we respond. And this choice is the foundation of our humanity. It is what separates us from mere existence. It is what gives our lives purpose. The journey to find this courage is deeply personal. It may begin with a single moment, a word, a thought, a gesture that sparks a shift inside you. Perhaps it is a memory of love, or a glimpse of beauty, or a silent prayer for strength. Whatever it is, hold on to it, nurture it, and grow. Because within that seed lies the power to transform your life, to rewrite your story, to reclaim your meaning. The path will not always be smooth. There will be setbacks, doubts, fears. But each time you choose meaning, each time you act from purpose, you strengthen your resilience. You build a life anchored in truth. And this is the greatest gift you can give yourself. There is a force within you that no one can diminish. No hardship can shatter it. No sorrow can extinguish it. This force is the human spirit, a wellspring of resilience, a beacon of hope, a source of endless possibility. It is the part of you that refuses to give up, that stands tall even when the world pushes down, that sings even when the night is dark. This spirit is not born of ease or comfort. It is forged in the fires of adversity. Each challenge you face, each pain you endure, adds to its strength. This strength is not always visible. Sometimes it is quiet, hidden beneath the surface, but it is always there. And when you connect with it, you tap into a power greater than any external circumstance. You become the master of your own fate, the author of your own story. This is the essence of Viktor Frankl's teaching, that no matter what happens to us, we have the freedom to choose our attitude, to find meaning, to live fully. This freedom is the heart of our humanity. It is the light that guides us through darkness, and it is the source of our unbreakable spirit. Suffering and freedom are intertwined in a delicate dance. At first glance, they seem opposed. Suffering appears as constraint, freedom as release. But Viktor Frankl showed us a deeper truth, that suffering can be the soil from which freedom grows. When we face suffering without fleeing, when we confront pain with courage, we reclaim a freedom that no external force can take away. This freedom is the choice of attitude, the decision to find meaning even in the darkest circumstances. It is a freedom that transcends physical limitations, a freedom that lives in the spirit. This realization transforms suffering from a curse to a challenge to grow, to learn, to transcend. It reminds us that we are not victims of circumstance, but active participants in our own lives. Even when the world is harsh, we can choose hope. We can choose love. We can choose meaning. This choice is the ultimate act of freedom, and it is available to each of us in every moment. No matter where you are, no matter what you face, you hold this freedom within you. The power to choose meaning is not reserved for grand moments. It lives in the everyday and the small decisions we make. When you wake up in the morning, when you face the tasks ahead, when you interact with others, each of these moments offers a chance to choose meaning, to choose how you perceive your reality, to choose how you respond to challenges, to choose what story you tell yourself. This power may seem subtle, but it shapes your entire life. It is like the gentle current of a river, carving deep canyons over time. Choosing meaning means refusing to be defined by your pain, by your failures, by your fears. It means recognizing that your life is more than circumstances. You are more than what has happened to you. You are the meaning you create. This is the essence of Viktor Frankl's logotherapy. That meaning is not found outside, but created within. And that creation is an ongoing process. Each day, each moment, you have the opportunity to choose meaning anew. This is both a responsibility and a gift. Because in this choice, you find freedom. Freedom to become who you were meant to be. Freedom to live fully. Freedom to find joy, even in the midst of pain. Your attitude is the lens through which you experience life. It colors your perception, it shapes your reality, it determines your capacity to find meaning. Viktor Frankl believed that while we cannot always control our circumstances, we can control our attitude toward them. This control is the cornerstone of resilience. When you choose a positive, hopeful, and purposeful attitude, you empower yourself to face adversity with strength. You transform obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into lessons, and pain into growth. This is not about forced optimism. It is about honest courage. The courage to say, "This is difficult, but I will find meaning here." The courage to say, "I may not understand now, but I will seek purpose in this experience." Your attitude is a choice, and with it, you hold the power to shape your life. No external circumstance can take that away from you. This choice is an act of freedom, an act of defiance against despair, an act of love for yourself and your life. Embracing this truth is a turning point. It marks the moment when you stop being a passive observer and become an active creator of your destiny. Your attitude becomes the brush, your life the canvas, and meaning the masterpiece you paint. Each day, each moment offers a new stroke on the canvas of your life. Some strokes are bold and vivid, others are soft and subtle. Together they create a unique masterpiece, your story. This masterpiece is not about perfection, it's about authenticity. It is about embracing your humanity, with all its flaws, its triumphs, its complexities. Viktor Frankl reminds us that the meaning of life is not something waiting to be discovered, but something we create through our choices and actions. You are the artist of your own meaning. This realization invites you to take responsibility for your life's narrative. It asks you to examine the stories you tell yourself. Stories of limitation, of failure, of fear, and to rewrite them with compassion, with courage, with hope. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to add depth and richness to your masterpiece. Every moment of suffering can be transformed into a source of wisdom and strength. This transformation is not easy. It requires patience, faith, and above all, love for yourself and for life. As you embrace this process, you will find that meaning unfolds naturally, like a flower blooming in its own time. Your masterpiece will be unique, reflecting your journey, your choices, your spirit. And it will be beautiful, because it will be real. Each moment presents a choice, a crossroads where your soul asks, "Will I surrender to despair, or will I rise?" This question is the heartbeat of existence, the silent challenge that calls you to awaken. To awaken not just to life, but to meaning within life. to understand that failure is not the end, but an invitation to reassess, to redirect, to redefine. You are not failing. You are simply measuring the wrong meaning. What if success was never about achieving a fixed goal, but about engaging fully in the journey? What if failure was merely a detour, a chance to learn, to grow, to deepen your understanding of yourself? When you begin to see life through this lens, the weight of failure lightens, the fear of mistakes fades, and a new freedom emerges. The freedom to try, to stumble, to rise again, without judgment. This freedom is a gift that allows you to embrace imperfection, to celebrate progress, and to honor the process. Meaning is found not in perfection, but in the courage to continue, in the willingness to keep searching, to keep asking, to keep becoming. The path to meaning is not linear. It is a winding road filled with unexpected turns and lessons, and each step forward is an act of creation. You create meaning through your choices, your actions, your perspective. No one else can do this for you. It is your sacred responsibility and your greatest power. Our perspective shapes our reality more than the events themselves. Two people may endure the same hardship, yet emerge with vastly different understandings. One may see a prison, the other a classroom. This is the profound gift of human consciousness, the ability to choose how we interpret our experience. Viktor Frankl's life is a testament to this truth. In the darkest moments of the concentration camps, he observed men who, despite unbearable suffering, maintained a sense of purpose and hope. They chose to focus on what was still possible: love, memory, future dreams. This choice did not erase their pain, but it transformed it. It gave them strength to endure, to survive, to find meaning. So, what is your perspective today? Are you trapped by the weight of your challenges, or are you seeking the lessons hidden within them? This is not a simple question. It requires honesty, courage, and patience. But it is the key to freedom. Because when you change your perspective, you change your life. You open yourself to new possibilities. You invite growth and transformation, and you reclaim your power to create meaning, no matter your circumstances. Life's trials are often unwelcome guests, intruders who disrupt our comfort and peace. Yet, they carry lessons wrapped in hardship, messages from existence itself, beckoning us to awaken deeper wisdom. Why? When faced with suffering, our instinct is to resist, to deny, to ask, "Why me?" But Viktor Frankl challenges us to ask a different question. What can this suffering teach me? This shift in inquiry is profound. It moves us from victimhood to agency, from despair to discovery. Suffering ceases to be meaningless pain and becomes a teacher, a catalyst for transformation. In the quiet moments of reflection, we can find insights that reshape our lives. Perhaps it is compassion for others who suffer. Perhaps it is gratitude for the simple joys often overlooked. Perhaps it is the realization of a strength within us we never knew existed. These teachings do not erase the pain, but they infuse it with purpose. Purpose that sustains us, purpose that propels us forward, purpose that connects us to the broader human story. Every trial you endure carries this potential. Every challenge is an invitation to grow. Embracing this truth does not make suffering easy, but it makes it meaningful. And meaning is what gives us the courage to live fully, to hope fiercely, to love deeply. Hope is not merely a fleeting emotion, nor a naive wish for better days. It is a profound declaration of faith. Faith in the possibility of meaning beyond suffering. Faith in the resilience of the human spirit. Faith in the transformative power of choice. When life feels overwhelming, when the darkness seems unending, hope is the light that refuses to be extinguished. It flickers in the depths of despair, a tiny flame that holds the promise of dawn. Holding on to hope is a courageous act. It means looking beyond your current pain, beyond your fears, beyond the uncertainty of the future. It means believing, even when you cannot see the way forward, that there is a purpose to your journey. This belief fuels resilience. It gives you strength to endure, to persevere, to keep moving forward. Hope connects you to something greater than yourself, a future yet to be written, a life yet to be lived. a meaning yet to be discovered. In this connection, you find peace amidst chaos, light amidst darkness, and courage amidst fear. Hope is the seed from which meaning grows. Nurture it, protect it, let it guide you through the storms of life. Because in hope, you find the power to transform your suffering into a meaningful and fulfilling life. Love is the highest form of meaning we can experience. It transcends pain, breaks the chains of despair, and connects us to the essence of life itself. Viktor Frankl recognized love as the ultimate source of meaning, a force so powerful that even in the dark, it can illuminate our path. Love is not limited to romantic affection. It includes compassion, empathy, and the deep connection to others and to the world. When you love, you open yourself to vulnerability, to risk, to the possibility of loss. But in this opening, you also find strength. Strength to endure hardship, to forgive, to heal, and to grow. Love gives us a reason to live, a reason to endure suffering, and a reason to hope. It anchors us in the present moment, while guiding us toward a future filled with possibility. In love, we discover the profound truth that our lives are intertwined, that our meaning is linked to the meaning we create for others. This realization shifts our focus from self to others, from isolation to connection, from despair to hope. Love transforms suffering into service, pain into purpose, and fear into courage. It is the heart of Viktor Frankl's message that meaning is found in giving ourselves to something larger than ourselves. So let love be your compass. Let it guide your choices, your actions, your purpose. And in doing so, you will discover a life rich with meaning, joy, and fulfillment. We are not solitary beings. We are threads woven into the fabric of humanity. Our lives gain depth and color when connected to others through empathy, kindness, and love. This connection is the lifeblood of meaning. In sharing our stories, our struggles, our joys, we find reflection and understanding. We realize we are not alone in our pain. This shared humanity is a source of profound comfort and strength. Yet, connection requires courage, the courage to be vulnerable, to open our hearts despite past wounds, to trust despite fear. But when we dare to connect, we discover the transformative power of belonging. Belonging nurtures hope, cultivates resilience, and fosters growth. It reminds us that our meaning is not isolated, but communal. That by uplifting others, we uplift ourselves. Viktor Frankl's legacy teaches us that even in the darkest circumstances, the human spirit thrives through connection and purpose. When you find your circle, whether through family, friends, or service, you tap into a wellspring of strength that sustains you, and you contribute to a greater tapestry of meaning. This is the essence of a fulfilled life, not a solitary journey, but a shared voyage toward hope, love, and meaning. One of the most profound ways to discover meaning is through service to others. When we give of ourselves, our time, our compassion, our talents, we create ripples that extend beyond our own lives. Service is a bridge that connects personal suffering to collective healing. It transforms individual pain into shared purpose. Viktor Frankl observed that those who found meaning even in the direst conditions often did so by focusing on how they could help others. This outward focus shifts the narrative from, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "How can I use this experience to make a difference?" Through service, you reclaim agency. You reclaim your power to influence the world, to bring light where there is darkness, to sow hope where there is despair. This act of giving is not self-sacrifice. It is a profound expression of self-realization. By serving others, you deepen your understanding of your own meaning. You discover that your life is not isolated, but part of a larger story. A story of connection, growth, and transformation. Every act of kindness, every moment of empathy adds to this story. And in doing so, you craft a legacy that transcends time. A legacy not measured by wealth or fame, but by love and impact. This is the true measure of a life well lived. Resilience is not a fixed trait reserved for a chosen few. It is a muscle that grows stronger with practice. Each day offers an opportunity to cultivate resilience, to respond to life's challenges with grace, courage, and purpose. Viktor Frankl's life and teachings remind us that resilience arises not from avoiding hardship, but from embracing it with meaning. When difficulties come, you can choose to let them define you or to let them refine you. This choice is at the heart of resilience. It requires conscious effort, a commitment to see beyond the immediate pain and to focus on the growth waiting on the other side. Practicing resilience means cultivating hope, even when hope feels distant. It means nurturing patience when progress seems slow. It means embracing vulnerability when fear tempts you to close off. And it means returning again and again to the question, what meaning can I find here? This question becomes a compass, guiding you through uncertainty. It keeps you anchored in purpose and possibility. Resilience is a journey, not a destination. It is built moment by moment, choice by choice, day by day. By committing to this daily practice, you become a testament to the power of meaning, a living proof that even in suffering, life can be rich, fulfilling, and profound. Resilience is more than endurance. It is a process of self-discovery. Each challenge you face reveals new facets of who you are. Your strengths, your vulnerabilities, your capacity to adapt and grow. Through resilience, you uncover layers of yourself previously hidden. You learn what matters most, what values guide your life, what purpose fuels your spirit. This journey inward is as vital as any external achievement. It deepens your understanding of meaning, shaping how you engage with the world. Viktor Frankl's wisdom invites you to view hardship not as an enemy, but as a mirror, reflecting your true nature back to you. In this reflection, you find the opportunity to choose growth over stagnation, hope over despair, freedom over resignation. Self-discovery through resilience is a transformative process, one that empowers you to live authentically with clarity and intention. It encourages you to embrace your imperfections, to honor your journey, and to trust in your capacity to navigate life's complexities. This process is deeply personal, yet universally human. It connects you to the shared experience of struggle and triumph that defines our collective humanity. Through resilience and self-discovery, you become not just a survivor, but a creator of meaning. A beacon for others seeking light in their own darkness. Suffering is often seen as a curse, an unwanted shadow that darkens our days. But Viktor Frankl invites us to see suffering differently, as something sacred, a profound opportunity for transformation. This is not to romanticize pain, but to recognize its potential to reveal deeper truths. Suffering strips away illusions, peels back layers of superficiality, and exposes the core of our being. In this exposure lies a profound gift, the chance to confront who we really are, beyond roles, masks, and expectations. This confrontation can be painful, even terrifying. Yet, it is necessary for authentic growth. When we embrace suffering as sacred, we honor its role in our journey. We stop resisting what is and begin to engage with it fully, with courage, with curiosity, with compassion. This engagement opens the door to healing. It transforms suffering from an enemy into a teacher, a guide, a pathway to meaning. The sacredness of suffering lies in its power to awaken us, to deepen our empathy, to strengthen our resolve, to connect us to the universal human experience. Through this awakening, we find a new relationship with pain, one that empowers rather than diminishes. And in this empowerment, we discover freedom. Transformation begins when we accept that the life we imagined may not be the life we live. It starts with surrender, not surrender to defeat, but surrender to reality, to the present moment, to the truth of our existence. This acceptance is a doorway, a threshold between old patterns and new possibilities. In this space, meaning emerges. It calls us to shed illusions, to release attachments to fixed outcomes, and to embrace the flow of life. Viktor Frankl's teaching reminds us that meaning is not a destination, but a dynamic journey, one that invites continuous growth, continuous recreation. Transformation asks for courage, the courage to face uncertainty, to confront fears, to step into the unknown. But it also offers hope, the hope that through change, we can find deeper purpose, greater peace, and authentic joy. As you embrace transformation, you begin to see that failure is not falling down, but refusing to rise. That setbacks are not the end, but part of the path. That the darkest moments often precede the brightest dawns. This realization empowers you to move forward with resilience, with compassion for yourself, and with an open heart. It invites you to become an active participant in your own healing, your own growth, your own story. And in doing so, you discover that meaning is not just something to be found, but something to be created, moment by moment, choice by choice. This is the essence of Viktor Frankl's legacy. That even in suffering, we have the power to create a life rich with meaning and purpose. As this chapter closes, remember this: you are not defined by your suffering, nor limited by your failures. Within you lies an unyielding spirit, capable of choosing meaning even in the face of despair. This choice is your greatest freedom, your deepest power, and your most profound gift. The journey through darkness is not a descent into emptiness, but a passage toward awakening, a promise that beyond pain lies purpose, beyond struggle lies strength, and beyond loss lies life renewed. Carry this truth with you as you step forward, for the meaning you seek is not lost. It is waiting to be created by you.